1 sec. I'm in like a...
Bam, we're live.
Okay.
Bam, we're live. Bam, we're live. I was thinking about making a shirt that said "Bam, we're live," and it's like a chest tattoo. Should I button these or not button these? Button these or not button these? I have this heater that I plug in every morning in my office.
Yeah, let me go turn mine off.
Cold in here, but I leave the door open too, just to get fresh air in here. And I don't think my heater's strong enough to overpower it. Hey, I think today will be my 6th day of basically eating raw meat. I ate raw meat one day. That's basically like, when I say I only ate raw meat, I eat other shit. I just don't eat anything that's not raw.
Yeah.
I did have a bite of chicken that wasn't raw one day.
How many days is this now?
Today is day like 5 or 6. And we had like, on accident, I bought 3 gallons of milk. Like every time I went to the store, I bought another gallon. And my wife's like, you got to drink a lot of milk. So I normally don't drink a lot of milk. And so I've been drinking a ton of milk. Raw ground beef. Yesterday, I didn't even make it through a pound. The first day, I made it through a pound. Mm-hmm. Oh, Devesh, you might not want to hear this part. I don't think your people eat cow. Racist. When I was in India, the cows are just allowed everywhere. I know we're early today. We're early. We're a few minutes early. Man, we're early today.
Gotta see if this works first.
When I was in India, they have these super highways there. You know, like 6, 7, 8 lanes each direction. Beautiful highways. But if the cows like decide to come up and lay on the highway, they lay on the highway. No one messes with them. They reroute all the traffic. It's pretty amazing. It's not like it's uncommon either. Like I was there for a month all over India, and I must have seen it half dozen times.
Cows are sacred there, right?
My gardener just text me. What's he want? Oh, money. Am I missing some of the chat? No. So basically, I've just been eating. People keep asking me in my DM, so I just want to tell you a little bit about it. I've been eating raw meat, raw ground beef. Just get it from the store. I even bought it from just like behind one of those glass counters one time, and the dude back there who worked there, like I think his name was Juan. He told me. I go, hey Juan, how old is this meat? He goes, just a day. And I go, would you eat it raw? He goes, I do eat it raw. I'm like, you eat raw meat? And he's like, well, I mean, I barely cook it when I make hamburgers. I was like, shit. I was like, where do you get it from? He said, we have chuck. I don't know what that is, but I'm assuming it's a big chunk of meat. And we just grind it back here. So I was like, all right, hook it up, brother. So I had that one day. And then the rest has been packaged like it's with like fancy packaging that says, I buy it at one store, it's $9 a pound. Another store I buy it, it's $14 a pound, and it's like organic ground beef. Anyway, I've been buying that, and mostly what I've been doing is I have a half pound in the morning and a half pound in the evening, and my wife puts it in a food processor with a half a stick of butter, and then when she and some salt, when she pulls it out, I dribble a little honey on it, and I eat it. And then I allow myself to eat as many avocados as I want, as many greens as I want, like out of a clamshell. And last night I had an apple before I went to bed. I've been drinking some milk. I had 1 raw egg. That was easy. Probably today I'll have more raw eggs.
How's your stomach been?
Fucking awesome. All unicorn poops, you know? No white. Oh, and I've been drinking that Whole Beast stuff. Can you bring up the Whole Beast website? And I've been drinking this.
Yeah.
One day I had 3 pints of this with milk. Yeah, that. I've been drinking that. That's I bought that from the Liver King, $64 for the bag. That's not cheap, but I think it's gonna last me the whole month. And I even took a scoop of that and split it into 3 little cups and gave it to my kids. Like split 1 man scoop amongst 3 kids with a little bit of whole milk, because I just bought too much milk, so it's kind of perfect timing. And yeah, we're early today, Heidi, Miss Heidi. We are early, man. You guys, yesterday I'm trying to have a serious conversation with now I know how my parents feel when I was a kid. I was trying to have a serious conversation with Jim Hensel, and people are like, when are the shirts coming? And I'm like, so did man create God or did God create man? So I was like, I want my fucking shirt. I'm like, thank goodness. Logan, why you got to ask that? Why you got to ask that? No, they didn't have raw milk. I didn't drink raw milk. Why are you ruining my story? Just assume it's raw. Hey, I have breaking news for you guys. Breaking news. Roman Krenikov will not be coming to the CrossFit Games this year. Instead, he will be fighting in Kiev. Dude, think of what's happened in our country. I've never I never blamed Trump for like like all the problems in our country. I never blamed Obama. I never blamed Hillary. I've never like been like the guy who just blames the president. This is just crazy. What this guy has done to this country. A tranny feels very safe going to school now, but you as a citizen in Los Angeles do not feel safe going to Whole Foods. I mean, what? I'm all for a tranny feeling safe to go to school. I grew up in Trannyville, baby. I love me.
Everybody should feel safe going to school.
Everyone, but dude, you have to take care. You cannot. You cannot be so concerned. He's let the complete country fall apart. Do you remember when Trump took office and we were all scared? Oh my God, this psycho is going to start a war. This psycho is going to start a war. We have a retarded man, old retarded man, not by birth, but through
the R word.
The R word, yes. We have a retarded man who has, and I mean that in the clinical sense, that's happened cumulatively through age, who is in office, who is running this country. It's nuts. I wonder what those people think who thought Dave Castro was unprofessional, what they think of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. I've never seen anything like this.
No need to think deeply into that. They weren't wronging anybody, you know. They're on the side of justice.
Oh, this is so bad. It's so bizarre. I seriously don't think that guy Roman is coming now.
I don't think
Crazy
so
Town Banana Pants. Thank you, Alan. Thank you. What
if like, I mean, I realize there's bigger issues, but what a shit luck for him. Like, he's like, yes, I finally got life. He said that, like, we're going to war, and he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Making light of that situation, as I do. Did you see the comments on Jerry News?
Oh no, please pull them up.
I don't know.
So last, I really like what you do. So Sousa showed me this thing. He on big accounts, he'll be the first comment to make a comment, and he makes a wisecrack, and then he gets shitloads of likes. It's so weird. That's like it's so weird how some people think of social media. I could give two fucks if I got canceled. The only reason why I even like my Instagram is for this one reason. It allows me to wave that blue check mark around to find guests. Other than that, I have no attachment to social media. And yet there's a whole generation that sees social media like breathing air. Like they're like, I took 6 months off. Like, so what? I made my first comeback post on December 20th. December 20th, 2021, I made a comeback, and it's a new me. Shut the fuck up, you fucking weirdo. Do you have no pride? Pride is sin. You should have some pride. Always leverage your ego.
My favorite is I'm taking a break for a while.
Anyway, I like what you do with social media, and I'm trying to jump on that bandwagon. You don't like, I never get likes on my posts, or like my posts get nothing. I don't even look at the likes or how's your engagement? How about you go fuck yourself? My engagement. I posted that picture because my son's doing some badass shit. But I like what you're doing, and I'm trying to do it too, where you go to a post and you're the first person to say something, you make a wisecrack, and the goal is to get as many likes there, like on someone else's post. It's so good.
I've been above 5,000.
I do get off on that. It's like climbing you know, like when you're a kid and you climb a ladder and there's like that one step, like you get to that, there's like 3 steps to the top and you're like, oh shit. But you go up there anyway and you stand up there for a second, like 2 steps from the top, and then you come down. That's what it's like. It's that kind of excitement. What were you gonna say, Sousa?
No, I was gonna say one of them is the most I've gotten is over 5,000 likes.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So it has to be.
Do you know where that post is? Could you pull it up?
Yeah, I'll try. I tried to pull.
Whose account was that on? Like Rogan's or something?
Barstool Sports.
Oh, that's so cool. Sometimes I'll get them into the hundreds. Well, that one comment I made on Noah's account, that one I wasn't even trying to do that, but I think I got like over 500 likes. Oh, there she is. Yeah. There she is.
Yes.
Bam. Leah, what's up, girl?
Very good, thank you. I'm really, really sorry that I'm late. I had technical difficulties.
No, we were just talking about the soldiers, the Ukrainian soldiers or the Russian soldiers who are vacationing in the Ukraine. It was no problem.
Okay, got you. The important stuff.
Yes, the important stuff. I listened to I've done like a 3-day you'll like this. You know you're big into fitness. You're athlete girl. Do you know what the assault bike is?
I do.
So I spent the last 3 days on the assault bike watching Leah Shutkever
That's the one.
videos.
Nice.
You know what's funny? You did that show in 2020 with Amazing or Be Amazing. Do you remember that?
Amazing.
It's a 28-minute show. There's no eating in it. It's just you answering questions.
Yes, I do remember.
And at the very end, and you're like, and I like this because there's not a lot of Sevan Matosians either. And you're like, and the one and you can find me. I'm the only Leah Shutkever. And then the voice comes on and goes, "Thank you, Leah Shutkever." And I'm like, dude, she just said her name. Like she just said her fucking name.
Yeah, a lot of people get it wrong, but I do appreciate the people that do get it right. It makes it all the better.
But when you have a name like that, it's like my name is Sevan. Like you, by the way, that's Matt down there, Leah.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, nice to meet you.
When you have a name like that, you're just used to it, right? Like after like the 3rd grade, you're like, fuck it, whatever.
God, I wish it was that easy. No, I was really bullied for my name, so I hated it for such a long time. I loved Leah or Leah, and Shutkever. I heard everything, and I hated it until it became my brand, and then it's the greatest thing in the world that it's so unique because, I mean, yeah, it's a brand within itself. So
yeah, go to Google, put in Leah space SH, and bam, it's you. You own it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You own it.
That'd be Matt.
Brilliant, isn't it?
It's cool.
And that was completely like non-calculated. It's something that I should probably thank my parents for, but there we go.
What is the name?
It's Russian, actually.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
apologize for the Russian joke in the beginning then.
No, it's all good. My ancestors were Russian and Polish, so we have the Shutkever name, which
Are you Jew?
I am a Jew.
Wow. No,
Yes,
that explains fucking everything.
It does.
You're an overachieving, super brain focused go-getter. Oh my God. It's really remarkable watching your interviews. Yeah, you are next level. Holy cow.
Yeah, I'm not public with a religion because it's not as kind of widely accepted over here in the UK, and I have a lot of followers in countries that probably wouldn't appreciate it. So I mean,
fuck them.
I get that.
I got 3 Jew boys. They're gonna take over the world. I'm Armenian. My wife's Jewish. That's
yeah,
and it's crazy. Do you know? Wow, my kids are. I don't mean to like brag. My wife's Ashkenazi, and I didn't know that. I've been with her 20 years, and I didn't know that until recently. And the wiki page, those are just fucking smarter people. Like people are like, you can't be racist. Nah, I'm telling you, this fucking group of people is smarter than that group. Maybe not the Japanese, but everyone else.
No, not the Japanese.
My God, Wiki, you might got that one wrong.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because it's when you are in that space, you see it in other people, but you don't have to say anything. I've been speaking to a lot of production companies in the States.
Yeah.
And they know that I know that they know that I know that they know, but nobody's asked the question.
Wow.
Like Jews know Jews, you just know.
Yeah.
And you don't have to talk about it. You just all know you've got the same mentality, same work ethic. You've got an understanding about business and money and people, and that's all that needs to be said. So it's like it's a cool little group to be a part of without officially being a part of it.
I'm in Northern California, and Southern California is totally different. My wife's from Southern California, and like, I'm so proud of my kids' Jewish heritage. And she's like, she's like, you can't say that, they're out to get us. And I'm like, nah, shut the fuck up. No one's out to fucking get anyone. I was in a Whole Foods in New Mexico one time. That's like, I'm on the west coast of the United States along the Pacific Ocean, and the Whole Foods in Mexico is like, 500 miles. I don't know. What is that? Like 1,200 kilometers or something east of me. Okay. I was just there. I don't know what I was doing there. And I'm in the Whole Foods there. It's in the middle of the desert. Whole Foods is our grocery store here in the States. And she, the hoity toity one, like just like where all the
the
attractive
overly
people
expensive
go.
one. I think so,
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
And as I'm checking out, a lady walks up and she goes, "It's nice to see someone from the tribe here." The fucking tribe. And my wife's like, "Yeah, she saw your nose and she was like, she thought you were a Jew." I was like, "What? Racist."
But you see, my background, so it's so interesting that you say that, because I think we
You
grow
look
up
Lebanese, by the way. You don't look Jewish. You look Lebanese. Yeah, go ahead.
look Lebanese, look Greek, look
Greek.
Italian,
Dude,
look
Greek is fuck.
Oh my God, I'm so Arab as well. I went to Egypt.
Yes,
and
you're a princess. I can see you're a what's your name? You're fucking Cleopatra. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. I promise you, I have been many places around the world, and I'm so racially ambiguous that it's been the absolute biggest blessing of my entire life, because I don't have to explain myself. I can culturally appropriate most cultures and nobody will say anything.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, for me, growing up with my parents, so my mum is Guatemalan, so she's from South America, but her heritage, she's Swiss Italian, Latin American, and Egyptian. And my dad is English, Irish, and Russian. So I'm very mixed across the board. My parents were both moved away from home quite young, traveled quite a lot, learned a lot of the world, and kind of said to me, look, just keep the Jewish thing on the DL. Like, be yourself.
Yeah, they tell.
Be cool.
They tell.
Yeah, your public enemy number one.
Yeah,
just be cool, right?
the black kids and the Jewish kids get that. I apologize for having such strong opinions on it. It's a mistake. Stop telling them that. Let people find out on their own. Let people find out on their own.
You know, my parents run a business. They run a greeting card company, and they have a lot of customers, many older customers, and they come in, and I've heard stories from my parents where an older person will say something like something derogatory about Jewish people.
Yeah.
And my dad will say, have you ever met a Jewish person? They're like, oh God, no, never. You sure? Never. And then my dad will just put his hand out to shake their hand, and they'll be like, no, you're not. He's like, what are you expecting? Did you think I was going to have horns or something? What were you expecting? Can you imagine? And so I just think that there is this like underlying impression that I think hasn't yet been fully eradicated. But I think if you put your best like foot forward and show yourself as a person as opposed to a religion or a color or whatever, and people just accept you as the person, the human, the personality that you are, the world would be so much more beautiful. Come on, like
I don't even know. Do you know well, two stories. One, yesterday I was in the bathroom. I shouldn't say this because I don't ever see this in my hood, but I was in the bathroom at the beach, and I come out of the bathroom and I see it's written on the wall. It says "fuck Jews." So I have no idea, but I put it on my Instagram. And I go, yeah, if you're a hot chick, please find my 3 sons when they're 18 and fuck the shit out of them, please. Smash that cock, yeah, please.
No.
Yes, fuck Jews, yes, especially if you're a hot chick, and find my sons, please, and be STD free, clean. Oh my goodness. Yes, fuck all the Jews. It's just so crazy. But I could see like why, like if
oh my gosh,
I'm trying to think of I understand like why you don't want your neighbors to like be like meth heads, right? Because then they probably steal from you and shit, or heroin. Like I don't get what the angst is towards Jews. Like I don't get I can't even like pretend to not like Jews. Like what am I supposed to hang on to? Like what's the
let me Google it for you. We could see.
I just don't get it. For those of you who don't know, do you Leah or Leah? Both. Leah.
Both. Yeah.
When I was a little kid, I was fascinated with the Guinness Book of World Record. And at the time, it was a little book like this. It was a paperback, and it was thick, and it had every record in it. Now it's like a skinny hardback, and it just has a few with pictures, and it's really a shame. I wish they would. I like the one that has all the records. Yeah, it's like that. When I was a kid, it was amazing. It was a small paperback that had like 10,000 pages. It was like the Bible. The writing was so small, only little kids could read it.
Yeah.
And I was fascinated by it. And so I stumbled across Leah on Instagram, and I saw that she set I think 20 records in 2020, 27 in 2020.
I think I did 15 in 2020, something like that.
Okay, she set a ton of records, and I was just fascinated, and I was like, oh, maybe I have a blue check mark. Maybe if I DM her, she'll DM back. And like a sucker, she fell for it, and bam, she's here.
Every time.
Yeah,
Every
I'm so shadow banned. My account is worthless except for the fact that I can DM that blue check mark will get people on my podcast. People will respond to it, and I'm the same way. Like if you DM me and you have blue check mark, I'm like, oh, who's this? And it's always like some volleyball player with like 1,200 followers from like Ukraine or Serbia. I'm like, what the fuck? How'd you get a blue check mark? Can we where did your parents meet, by the way? Your mom's from Guatemala, you said?
Yes. They met in Israel. They were both doing a
Kibbutzing.
kibbutz out there. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, my mum grew up in like a very it's quite intense over in Guatemala. It's
Yeah.
it's very a lot of social class type, a lot of standards, a lot of things to live up to and be part of. And my mum is a non-follower of rules and decided it's not for her and she wants to travel. So she left. My dad was pretty much after the same thing, and they met on an Ulpan. And then
What was the
my
word
dad
you used? They
decided-
met on a what?
Ulpan, so it's a kibbutz.
Okay.
Yeah.
And will you tell us what a kibbutz is for people who don't know? It's basically
So-
like a farm where kids go to pretend like they're old school Jewish people, but really they're just to meet their mate and fuck.
So I don't like to think of my parents like this. So this is like the PG version.
Okay.
So a kibbutz is basically a community a load of people that all live together. And back in those days, you would all live in like a village, which is all secured. There were 400 people living in this particular kibbutz. And everybody has a job. Nobody earns a salary. Everyone works towards a community. So my dad worked on the farms there, and my mum worked in the chicken coops, in the kitchens, doing laundry and things like that. So it's a very wholesome way of living. And at the same time, you kind of learn Hebrew. You do all your classes. If you need to convert or whatever it may be, you can also do that at the same time.
So it's like church camp basically, but hardcore, and you meet. It's a good place to meet a mate of similar values.
Yes, I think it's a great way to just broaden your horizons just across the board with people from around the world all seeking out their heritage, religion, something else, other people, and kind of getting out of like that small town mentality, which they may feel like they're living in wherever they are. So, yeah.
It's like Burning Man for Jews. Do you know what Burning Man is?
It wasn't a cult. It's not a cult.
No, Burning Man's not a cult. It's a place where rich people go to do drugs in the desert here in the United States.
That's exactly what a cult would say.
No. Burning Man's a huge party.
That's
I
how
just
they
saw these
sold it.
aerial views of these circular farms, and Burning
Yeah.
Man's kind of like that. It's a big circular just drug fest. Okay, and does your mom speak Spanish?
She does.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And have you done a kibbutz?
No, I have not.
Oh, and how old are you?
I'm 31.
And you got a buff like bodybuilder boyfriend with like tattoos and stuff too. I see him like in some of the videos, right?
I am single, but that was my ex-boyfriend. Yes, thanks for making it awkward.
Oh yes, very awkward. So your life really is. Man, there's a lot to unpack here. And do you have an agent?
I don't have an agent. I manage all my own contracts, all my own jobs, etc.
Wow.
Man, why you don't have? Well, I'm going to start in the middle here. When you and your boyfriend were together, was he a big part of your business?
He was a big part of my mentality. So he was ex-military. He was working as a psychotherapist. So I learned a lot about psychology, about performance anxiety, and what he was good for. As part of my kind of world is that he knew that I had certain insecurities. He was very good at putting me on track to perform well. So that was where he kind of came into all of that. But ultimately, before that relationship and now, as I am now, I do everything for myself, which is videography, photography, anything to do with presenting, eating, performing, world records. all the paperwork, admin, contracting, everything is me.
Wow.
Is this the same gentleman you met is this the same gentleman that showed you the bikini contest in 2013?
No, it isn't.
A
So
different
that
guy.
was,
Okay.
I seem to be finding these buff guys.
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
around the shop.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, shit, look at you. Like you're not
Um,
going to date Humpty Dumpty.
Stop it. It depends. It really depends. No, in 2011, my boyfriend then was a bodybuilder. I had no idea about bodybuilding at all. I was just this chick. I was overweight as a child. I was very insecure, incredibly insecure. And I didn't like the way
Me
that I
too.
looked.
Me too.
I
Me
think
too.
it's pretty common, if I'm honest. I didn't really like the way that I looked, but I wanted to do something about it. So he suggested to me, why don't you learn a bit more about nutrition, get into bodybuilding, and you can kind of develop the body and build the body that you want to build, as opposed to just eat to gain weight. And I got into bodybuilding and I got into weightlifting, and it really did change my life because it created a level of discipline which I knew that I had, but I needed to direct it somewhere. And I learned about nutrition, and then the food came back into my life. So I was an overweight kid who loved food, and then I thought I had to take that out of the equation to be skinny, and I lost weight, but I wasn't happy. Food came back in, my happiness came back, and the body started to build. So I got myself to a point where I was happy with what I was doing, and I was able to maintain it fairly easily. And then the competitive eating kind of crept in to my world, and now I'm just this balancing act, like with calories every single week.
It is a phenomenal space you're in, because food is the ultimate drug.
Yeah.
It obviously, every time you stick something in your mouth, your hormones do get affected. I mean, it is the controller of our hormones. What's the least you ever weighed? There was, in one of the podcasts I was watching, you said that you were determined to get to a size 0. What?
Well, not me necessarily. It was just that was the fashion at the time. So in the UK, especially, and I remember this distinctly, there were magazine covers all over the place. We're talking 2004, 2003, and it was just advertising Victoria Beckham, Kate Moss, that really tiny,
Oh yeah, Kate Moss was a
looking,
stick. Yeah.
the wafy looking gaunt face. That was what was fashionable at that time. And me, I was not even built to be that size. So it would never have mattered how hard I dieted and nothing. I would never ever be what I envisioned myself to be. But I was fascinated with the modeling world, fascinated by supermodels and fashion.
Well, you
and
wanted
that
to
was
be
kind of
attractive so people would like you, right? I mean, that's what I wanted to be.
yeah. I wanted to be attractive so that I could like myself more. That was more the thing. I struggled because I stood out so much, the way that I was, the family I was from, my background, everything was different. My
Your
name,
family's
the way that
weird.
I looked.
Wait, do you live in London? Were you raised in London?
No, I was raised in Birmingham, which is the second city.
Okay, I just
Second
think of
city.
the UK as London. But so
Every American.
were you just the weird family? You got the Jew, Guatemalan, Polish, like you guys were like the Munsters, like you just culturally just were different. Like you ate different food, you guys talked different, you guys were just smarter than everyone. The whole.
So I find that I relate the most to when I speak to like Indian girls and they tell me about their school experience back at the same time as me. It was like I was the only Indian girl. I was the only person with the different food and the different mum and the weird accent. And I never swore, and I had a level of respect for teachers that other kids didn't have. I could make a bed and I could cook from a very young age, and I had capabilities and a personality that other people just didn't. And I think that was so it was just so looked down on by other kids, and I was entirely unfanciable. I found it
You were unwhattable. You were unwhattable.
Unfanciable. I just wasn't in any way. I didn't. It was.
What's that mean?
It means. So you know what fancy mean? When you fancy someone, you are like attractive. If you're attracted to someone,
yes.
I was unfanciable. So I just had nothing attractive going for me at that time in that place. And so with all of my friends being attractive people and all of this, I felt very much the outsider. So for me, it was all about conforming to become, I really just wanted to stand out less. And I started to wear a lot of black. But yeah, I just wanted to stand out a lot less than I did.
Yeah, as a boy in that same situation, you just want one girl to like you.
You're
just like, fuck, can someone just like want to hold my hand or like talk to me or like, if I give you $5, will you say I'm cute?
And then that one girl does, and you're like, anybody but you.
Yeah, I know. You're right. You're so right. It's so fucked up.
Immediately no.
It's so fucked up. Well, you nailed it when you said you just wanted to like you. Yeah, and when you're doing it the way I was doing it, and you want just other people to like you, then there's no end to it. You're never satiated.
Yeah. So I think that's where I went right with my whole self-development. I didn't go to the gym for anybody else but myself. I didn't diet for anybody else but myself. I didn't learn the things that I learned for anybody else but myself. And that's why it has its longevity, because I've never ever performed for anybody else. It's all been a very selfish journey, to be honest. I've been doing everything purely to better myself. I figured if I'm good, then I'm going to be good to other people. So that was always my thinking.
These videos where you put a hot dog down.
Yes.
If that hot dog were to come up, would it come up whole?
That's a good question. I would.
One's never come back up?
No. Like once it's down, like it's like way down. Like it's inside.
Have you ever put one in and it just fell out your ass? Like you put it in and it just fell out your ass in your pants? No, okay.
I'm not like a vending machine. People think that like you like give me a smack across the head and you just, you know.
I'm gonna say something that I have no business saying. Just tell me to shut the fuck up. But I think that I don't know if he even has a girlfriend, but I think if you were to date David Blaine, you would explode into a whole nother category of like, I don't know if you want to be famous, but super famousness, because I just think that like there's these people like it's never someone who's like a cancer researcher who discovers the cure for cancer. It's always someone who's like in physics and their hobby is like playing with insects, right? And then somehow they see something that sparks something like, oh my God, that will cure cancer. If you were to mix with a magician of that caliber, something would happen to you that would be like, I think like fucking. Do you know him? Have you ever met him? You know David Blaine?
I have not met him. I think.
Do you know who he is?
Of course, the magician. Yeah, I know who he is.
He might even be from your part of the world. He might have a funny accent like you.
Oh, okay, one of us.
One of us.
Is Blaine one of those Brits?
One of my tribe. I think
he looks all proper and
find out
and smart like Leah.
He looks all proper. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about. However, he may not.
No, he's born in the U.S., New York City.
Oh,
okay.
Doesn't seem nearly as interesting.
But yeah, it would be the ultimate magical act.
Oh,
do you find him attractive, David Blaine?
Not particularly. I wouldn't say that he's my. You know, it's difficult for me to say because I was speaking about this recently about my type. I do have a type. I think everybody has a thing they're attracted to. But I think ultimately, when I meet somebody in real life, there's got to be something beyond a connection, beyond confidence that I find attractive about a person. And it may be something that they may be really insecure about that I find really attractive. And I think that comes from, I'm like a wealth of flaws. And I always love the idea of somebody liking the thing that I like the least, because it will make me feel really good about that one thing. And I think that I've sought out that thing in other people, and I find it really quite endearing. So yeah, I tend to just go for a person because of that thing that they have about them. But I need to meet them in real life and converse and connect and see if they've got that.
Can you give me an example of that?
So I tend, okay, I'm really exposing myself here. So everybody listening, I have had a thing for people with ears that have stuck out a little bit.
Oh,
And I've
wow.
always been really insecure about it, but I really find it attractive. And it's the most bizarre thing in the world. But I don't know what it is. I know they're insecure about it, but I find it so, I don't know. I just find it so alluring. I don't know what it is. So, yeah.
I'm only 5'5".
Oh, I can see that.
And I had this girlfriend and way back in college, and she was 6'1", and she said she liked me because I reminded her of one of those little jam jars.
Stop it.
I was like, all right,
Stop it.
fuck a Jew then. Fucking Armenian then. Yeah. Then let's yeah, she told me that.
Hilarious.
I was like, wow, this is a little jam. No one's ever said that before. I've never heard a woman say she's attracted to a dude with his ears stick out. I used to like it when I'd be like, I shouldn't say, like, not like it happened all the time, but when I was a little kid, I was watching like Kids Jeopardy or something, and there was a girl up there, and she was answering questions, and she was really pretty. And Alex Trebek asked, "Oh, do you have a boyfriend or something?" And she goes, "No, but I really like chubby boys." And I was like, "Oh, I'm a chubby boy." And that's the only time I ever heard that.
That's the funniest thing in the world. You know, in terms of height, so this is like the opposite for me. I'm a tall, like I'm quite a broad, quite a big girl. I used to play rugby. I've always been around guys that are bigger.
Your back looks amazing though in that picture. You look really broad, but you have an amazing back. I mean, you have an amazing body, but your back's awesome.
I'm a big girl. I think that any guy that's kind of intimidated by that kind of like a built woman, I use it as like weeding out the weak. And I find that men with lots of confidence and like a good build will sort of appreciate that. And I've never been attracted to guys that I feel are smaller than me in any way, even if it's like lighter than me or weaker than me.
Oh, that sucks. You're ruining me. I'm glad I'm old and married. You're fucking everything up for me.
Ruining everything for everyone. But
hey, if I heard you say that, if I was at a party in college and I heard you say that, you would just have a giant target on your back. I'd be like, I'm smashing this chick. I'm gonna marry her.
The challenge is always the challenge. The thing. Yes. It's the most bizarre thing to me because I'm very black and white, especially when it comes to men. And if I'm not interested, I'm very open about it. But British men don't take that lightly, and they will be like, "You are going to be my wife."
Yeah.
Especially because I'm too short for you.
Right. Exactly. How tall are you?
I will find you, and I will marry you.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'8".
And what's the least you've ever weighed?
The least I've weighed is like 8.5 stone, but I sit comfortably at 12.5.
What can you, Susan? Could you convert to something for me? Whatever we do. And what's the most you ever? Do you fuck with the scale? Do you have a scale at home? Like, is it something you have? No.
I go by kind of the way that I feel, the way my clothes fit.
Yeah, me too.
Generally speaking, at the moment, I understand myself so well and my schedule so well, everything's so calculated that I don't often diverge too far away from my natural set point with my weight. So it's not really an issue anymore, if I'm honest.
Wow, 119, that's nothing.
Yeah,
that's skinny.
Yeah, for me, that was small.
Holy cow. And what's 12.5, Susan? Can you do that one for us too? Mm-hmm. You have the bandwidth for that? So you don't know the most you've ever put on in one like that one time you ate 11 pounds of like shish kebab, like of like meat or something. You don't know like how much that puts on you.
So it's difficult to say because the physical weight after doing a food challenge isn't what you'll be the next day. If you keep on top of your water intake, you will not hold any subcutaneous water. So you won't hold any water from the sodium, the food that you've eaten, if that makes sense. Yeah. So the weight necessarily, you don't just get fat overnight. You'll hold weight. I do. No. People say, I eat one meal out and I'm 10 pounds heavier. I'm like, no, you don't.
Dude, Leah, if I eat like 2 pieces of cake, my
Mhm.
chest turns into tits.
How much water do you drink?
I don't know. Not a lot.
Not enough. Not
Yeah,
enough.
I never drink water.
Not
I
enough.
mean, I drink coffee. There's water in here.
Yeah, but that's also a diuretic, so it
Oh.
is also making you dehydrated at the same
I
time.
have to poop.
And also that.
You said something about the tomatoes. You ate the tomato. You had the tomato challenge, and
Yes.
that was one of the world records you set in 2020.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Yes, I was in lockdown and I was trying to find records to beat, and I found this tomato challenge, and it was one of the easier challenges I think I've ever done, but also one of the best performing videos I think has ever been of me on the internet. And it surprised me because so many people hate tomatoes. I love them, but
Me too.
yeah,
I love them too.
I ate I think 8 tomatoes in a minute. Six or eight. I think it's 8.
And it's based on their size. You weigh them.
Yeah.
There's some cat. Tell us how. Two things. I want to compare that video to some other ones in a second, but tell us, like, how is it working with Guinness? Is that fun? Is it
Okay.
easy? Is it stressful? Is it tedious? And like, tell us like what you need to know as you go into a challenge. Give us the rules. Like, if I want to go to the store right now and I wanted to break the 8 tomato record, what do I have to do?
Okay, so you're not really working with Guinness World Records. You are submitting evidence to them to prove that you are able to break a record. So it's not like it's a collaboration. It is, I am a punter and they have a thing that I want, and so I have to be good enough to be part of that. So you'd have to go online, find the record that you want to beat, and apply for it. The application form tends to be quite long, but once you get through it one time, you know the tricks. Then you have to wait to get approved. You get the guidelines, and then you have to follow every guideline. With this tomato record, they'll give you the current record, how big the requirements are for the tomatoes or the item of food you're eating.
And by
The
big, you
rules-
mean weight. By big, you mean weight.
weight, but sometimes they ask you to measure, like you have to measure the sausages or measure the pickles.
Okay.
You have to show like a clear timer on screen. There has to be the title of the record that you're attempting. You have to present it in a certain way so it's very clear. You have to have a main camera angle, a side camera angle, a slow-mo camera angle, continuous photos throughout the attempt, 2 witnesses, a timekeeper, somebody to sort of
Two
adjudicate.
witnesses?
Yes, 2 witnesses. Yeah, you need to constantly have a group of people around you to be able to verify that you're doing this thing.
You're lucky your president didn't put you in jail for breaking quarantine violations. You got a really strict guy over there, Mr. Fatso. I mean that with love. I'm
Yeah.
just concerned that he's gonna die of COVID because he's so fucking fat. Sorry,
I
go
love
ahead.
Boris Johnson.
Oh, me too. I love him too. That's why he should lose some weight and be a good example for his people.
Oh dear. Not joining in. So yeah, with the world record attempts in general, there's a lot of loops to jump through. We didn't break any quarantine rules because during quarantine, Guinness World Records dropped the impartial witnesses. So you could have family members.
How kind of them.
Very. So then people could break records at home, keep themselves busy, and submit their attempts. And they opened it out and made it more accessible for people like me. And yeah,
who would you use before when you didn't need when you had to have impartial witnesses? You just pull someone off the street. You'd go down there and be like, "Excuse me, sir," and they'd look at you and be like, "Come up to my apartment." And then you get up there and there'd be your buff boyfriends up there, and he'd be like, "Fuck." He's like, "Watch me eat these tomatoes, dipshit." And then he's sign here.
No. So before lockdown, I broke all of my records on TV shows or with Guinness World Records. So they provided everything that I needed and did all the application process and everything for me. And it was only in lockdown that I actually went through the whole process myself and like started to do that.
The Sevan podcast has some breaking news today that has not been announced anywhere else in the world. If you need to break a world record during quarantine, you still need witnesses, but they can be family members. And that is the kind of deep insight you get from this show. It's fascinating. God, it's so fascinating. What a weird world we live in. Yeah. This is exactly where my brain went when you said, because you said you're surprised that the tomato one did so well. My brain went to this, that if it's not shaped like a penis, it's not going to do well. So like, I'm guessing the cucumber does well, the hot dogs do well, the bananas do well, and then all the others are just like, fuck, like no one gives a fuck.
It's really difficult to know what people are going to respond to.
So I'm just penis biased. I'm just penis biased. I'm totally wrong. You're saying
you're male.
Yeah,
you're male. It's the way that you like. I think for me, especially, I don't see things quite like that. I just see something that I'm able to do, and obviously the shape is very much easier to do. I mean, I've done the egg record, which performs very well, and that's not phallic shaped. So
right.
It's the male mind, and unfortunately my audience is predominantly male to a degree. It's kind of balancing out quite a lot now, but
how is it that you have so many males and I have so many males? Do you what the fuck?
Because I'm a cool girl.
Okay, good. That's good. Okay, it's because I'm cool. Yeah, I seriously just thought that. I thought, well, if you ever just want to get 100,000 views, what's the law? If you just wanted to get a lot of views, you could always, anytime you put something in your mouth that looks like a penis, it will just be viral.
Well, that's how I bait people on Instagram. Yeah. I don't like to do it, but Instagram push you to what the people want to see.
Yeah.
And it's either an over sexualization, which I just don't think that it's a very nice way to present yourself ever, but sometimes you have to succumb to it. So I try to marry the competitive eating, or like this skill that I have, with the sexualization, the cosplay stuff, the stuff that performs really well. And ever so often I have to drop something like that to like reignite my audience, and then go, hey, cool, right, I do still do food challenges. They are on YouTube. That is what pays my bills. Go and watch them, please. And then come back and I might post something cool on here. You know, it's just, I'm just a businesswoman.
Her top 3 videos are not, it's like steak. This is on YouTube. Steak, hamburgers. There's like the Impossible McDonald's challenge. And then the one you did with Eddie Hall, which are all.
Can you pull those up? Can you show? So isn't that's fascinating? You know that Facebook was created so Mark Zuckerberg could get pussy. I mean, like, it's no secret. He admits that. Like, that's why it was created. That's why men do everything, Leah. That's like we're born and then that's why your dad went to the kibbutz.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't doubt it. My dad was a real playboy.
Yeah. Oh, so the cereal, part of me, I'm going to tell you, when you do the tomato one, it's really hard for me to watch. Like, I feel this like almost like involuntary, like, gag reflex. Like, I'm like, like I'm empathizing with you, and I'm not figuring, as you put it down, I'm like, that's not going to go down. Oh, maybe all the boys who like your hot dog eating ones, we're all gay. Maybe we're empathizing it, and we're living through you. We want all that meat in our mouth. Holy shit. Uh-oh.
This is a really weird turn of events. How do you feel?
I'm uncomfortable. I want to talk about cereal. The only one that I want to try is the cereal one. I mean, and I loved it that you said that those are your favorite ones. Are those still your favorite ones?
Yeah, I love doing burritos and cereal. I find them just the most like satisfying. Like, I like the way that the cereal bowl goes down as you go through it, and when I'm editing it, it's really satisfying. It's nice.
Wow.
And because of how cereal is, you're not hit with this overwhelming weight. It's you don't have to constantly drink water. There's no carbs to expand in your stomach. Like, you're not getting any kind of adverse. It's just, but I find it very tasty, satisfying.
What do you mean no carbs to? Like, so in the last 15 years, I was immersed in CrossFit, and we're not allowed to eat cereal in our cult. Like, cereal is like the worst thing you could eat. It's like, it's Satan. But I saw you, and I really don't like Lucky Charms. They're or Captain Crunch, because they're too sharp. They hurt the roof of my mouth.
Yeah.
But Man, yeah, like I see that, and a part of me just wants to go to Amazon, buy that bowl and a box of cereal and a gallon of milk and just do that.
Yeah, I think it's a very tempting challenge because it looks so achievable, but it's a lot more difficult than you think. Like your stomach naturally sits at around two fist sizes, and this will probably take you to about 2 to 4 times that. So yeah, it's not as easy as it looks. That's all I'm gonna say. And I enjoy it because I can do it, and it doesn't really bother me that much. Cereal doesn't really stay on you for very long, if that makes sense as well. It's kind of quick energy. You feel full, you go to the gym, next day you feel pretty fine. It's not a ton of calories either.
Yeah.
The dairy content I would now probably avoid entirely, just because I've learned so much about dairy. I don't have any intolerances, but I just try and avoid a large amount of certain things, like dairy and sugar, on my sort of day-to-day life.
But if someone tried to fuck with your record, you just go smash them and go
So
back to
every
cereal.
record that I've ever set, I think it was Mo Farah that threw his arms out really close to the finish line, and that slowed him down by milliseconds. I feel like I do that with every record that I do. There's always that bit at the end where I'm like, I've done it, and I'm just going to prolong the end a tiny bit. So if anybody comes anywhere near it, I know that I can break it again. And I feel like that kind of leaves this open door, makes it achievable, and then also makes it achievable for me to break again if needed.
Oh man, you are such an interesting cat. That you are such a well thought out person.
Yeah.
Ah, thank you.
I don't know if it's a compliment, just an observation.
Yeah, interesting. Well, it'll do.
Um, so what software do you use to edit?
iMovie.
And are you self-taught?
Yes.
And you have this really it's so cool how you have this life. I've told this story a bunch of times, but you are crazy successful and you have this life that's so tight, at least it appears to in your discussion. And by that I mean there was a Harvard professor who was an entomologist, study of bugs. He was also a marathon runner, and he was also an artist. So he
Yeah.
made this loop around his cabin that was 26
Yeah.
miles, and every 7 miles he had a station where he would gather bugs, and he would gather those bugs by putting rotting food there, like a rotting rat or a rotting bowl of bananas. And then he would go 6-mile run, sit down with his pad, draw, study the bugs, get his drawing and get his running in, and run to the next. You have this life where you've made it, where everything that you're doing is interconnected. We haven't talked about this yet, but you are a consummate. You work out every single day, basically. You're 7 day a weeker, like all the good, smart people on the planet. You are you're a faster. You know a ton about metabolism, food, and you also like the arts of editing. And you're just in this and filming, and you probably know about lighting, and you probably know about different cameras, and you probably like appreciate the technology in the iPhone 13. Your life is just this there's not wasted, there's not, you got rid of the boyfriend, there's no friction.
You know what's interesting? With you saying that, I studied architecture at university. So my brain works very pragmatically. I think about how a space is built and what is needed for you to go through that space and make it the most efficient and effective kind of loop or circuit. And I think everything that I've learned from college, I studied business. So it was like straight up, you learn about what works, what doesn't work, keep it moving, being pragmatic, all of those types of things. University, I started to tap back into the creativity. Then I was a commercial interior designer. So I learned a lot about spaces, about people, about psychology, about colors, about CAD, so like computer technology for drawings, etc., computer aided design, things like that. So I always had these things in the back of my mind that I knew I could do something with them. I just didn't know how I was going to use them. And in my space now, I'm finding joy in all of those aspects. The gym is more of a habit than a hobby nowadays. I've been going to the gym very many years. Keeps me on track, keeps me feeling good. It's a very selfish sport, It's not social. It is there. You're there to burn calories, to make yourself feel and look strong, possibly combat some injuries you picked up years ago, like me. I've slipped discs and done all sorts.
Me too.
I was also a bit of a gymnast as a child, so
Oh.
I'm hypermobile. So I do a lot because I'm so hypermobile. I need to kind of keep on top of my flexibility and things like that. Maybe that helps towards the eating. I don't know. But
I just thought of your first magic trick with David Blaine.
Okay.
They fold you up really tiny because you're super mobile and put you in a box that no person could fit in, and then you dump, and then you put in like 15 hot dogs. And then open the door, and the hot dog. You think the girl's gonna be gone, but just the hot dogs are gone.
Ta-da!
I mean, he'll think of better shit than me.
David Blaine's mother was Russian and Jewish as well too. So
Blaine's, of course, he's Jewish.
Why would it?
If he's not, he's claiming he is. Yeah. I told my wife I'm a better Jew than she is.
Yeah,
probably. Did she get to be that?
You hype up the tribe. That's what we need.
Dude, the tribe is dope. The tribe is dope.
We need more Armenians on side anyway. So get your tribe to join our tribe.
Do you know your Jewish history pretty well, or a little bits of it, like the Malcolm Gladwell stories, or like the Rothschilds, or like what's the guy who's the Rothschilds? There's two Jewish families everyone's scared of in the United States: the Rothschilds and George Soros. Soros. Do you know any of those stories?
No, I don't. The Rothschild, yes, but aren't they feared because they're very powerful and wealthy?
Yeah,
and they do shady stuff.
I can't remember which family it was, but I just loved it. I love this story. I can't remember the name of the city. I can't remember the name of the city. Famous city, maybe in Czechoslovakia. Is that country even around anymore?
The former Yugoslavian Republic of Macedonia. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. One of these countries. Maybe it was the city of Budapest. What? Anyway, I'm not going to say anything more because I'm going to show how stupid I am. But basically, on the outskirts of the city, the Jews weren't allowed inside the city walls. So and this is just like 150 years ago. So they made all the Jews sit outside the city walls in the slums where all the piss and shit was. And inside the city walls, no one was allowed to lend money. No banking was allowed. So what do the Jews do? They're like, well, we got nothing. We're on the outside of the walls. We'll start lending people money.
Yeah.
Within 150 years, those fucking poor Jews are not the biggest banking empire in the world. I think that's the story of the Rothschilds. And I'm like, yeah, you fuck nuts. You put them on the outside of the wall and made them fucking find a way to survive.
Yeah.
And they survived and turned it like it's. I was gonna say something blasphemous about Jesus, but I'll be nice. I like Jesus.
No, please, let's be nice too.
Yeah, I like Jesus. He's cool. He has long hair. He does turn water into wine.
Cool guy.
In this loop, is there room for you to be courted? Is there how would suitors come in to
so
how do you meet people?
I do like to meet people quite organically. I've only recently come out of a long-term relationship, and I'm not really looking nor like anything like that. So at the moment, I'm really just trying to focus on my business and growing my profile and my platform, and trying to focus on just making this as big, and in a very selfish way, focusing all my energy in that. But generally speaking, like, I'm a very sort of old school mentality kind of woman. I like a man to kind of show up, be reliable, and be compassionate, and be intelligent, and make me laugh, and take me out, and treat me well, and have his own stuff going on, be ambitious, and attractive, and have like sticky out ears, and the things that every girl wants.
You want fucking Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
Successful, ambitious, and big old ears, and a great smile.
Yeah. Good smile. Very ambitious, has his own stuff going on.
God, I hope you get stuck marrying some dude who's 5'4". God, I wish I was still in the game. I'd fly over there.
My karma, the karma can get me. Sticky out ears, 5'4". Probably an absolute dime piece, though, to be fair.
I hear all of the it's so I hear all these people talking. We live in this, like, I don't know how it is in the UK, but we live in this world of like just the super offended in the United States. It's such a fucking joke. But fortunately, it's given me a great 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 thing to leverage. But we live amongst the super offended, and I hear the shit that people are offended by, and I'm like,
Yeah.
do you have any idea what it's like going to elementary school, middle school, junior high, high school? Like the things that people say to you, like I would be standing around like 10 girls and just me, and they'll be naming off traits that they don't like about boys. And I'm like, well, I got that, and I got that, and I got that.
Yeah.
No one seems to give a fuck about me. And they're like, come on, Sevan, let's go. I'm like, yeah, look at this. I'm still part of the group.
I had the same thing as
Like, shut the fuck. And I'm glad they did
Yeah.
that. I wouldn't have changed anything for the world. I wouldn't have changed a thing for the world. I loved them. And I love those girls for that.
I agree. Completely.
Yeah. I can't stand a short guy with a big nose who's chubby. Come on, Sevan, let's go. You want to sit with us at lunch? Yeah.
It's character building.
That's right.
How you know you're a bit of an overachiever, right? Are you would you say you're a control freak?
No, not at all.
No?
I would say that I'm very hard on myself. I judge myself very harshly. But I'm not a control freak. The thing is, I don't really have an opportunity to be one. Is that weird? I don't have anyone working for me. I've never had somebody working for me.
So maybe you don't know. Maybe you are and you don't know it then.
Yeah, maybe.
I got the impression from listening to your podcast that you're very, maybe control freak's not the right word. Maybe I'm being lazy. That you're very, let's say, hyper organized. That there's even in your eating, there's a profundity to it. It's not there's a style, there's a grace, there's a mission, there's tactics, there's strategies. Like as I listen to you through these podcasts, this isn't just, hey, don't eat for 12 hours and sit down and shove your face. There's you talk about your mindset, and these things are just coming out, these little pieces in all of your interviews. And I just think I'm going back to what it would take to be in a relationship with you. I'm just guessing, like, we're in this, it would take a very special person to integrate with someone. And it's the same thing with I interview a lot of professional athletes, and I just wonder, how does this man who fights for a living, I kind of think of you as a professional fighter, by the way. I interview a lot of professional fighters. You do?
Yeah.
Oh, tell me about that.
I see myself as an athlete above everything. I see everything that I do is for a reason. I'm not doing it out of vanity. It's not the career choice that I would have chosen for myself. I'm kind of making the most out of my situation. I'm very opportunistic. This has kind of presented itself and making the most of it. I'm opening this door and creating this mold for other girls to jump into very unconventional ways of being, and also showing people that, like, you can do both. It's hard, but you can do it. So yeah, that's how I see myself. I see everything is calculated because I'm an athlete. I need to be able to do the fitness to do the food, and then do the food to do the fitness, and kind of allow that loop to happen organically.
That's interesting. I also saw it because the commitment is massive and it's dangerous. What you're doing is kind of dangerous.
Well, I think
professional athletes do dangerous shit. Say it again. Yeah.
Anything that's worth having and worth doing is going to be dangerous on a level. But to the people that would show their concern, I'm a non-drinker, non-drug taking, non-smoker, and lifelong, my biggest vice is food. My biggest love, like enjoyment, comfort, everything is food. I don't go out on a weekend and get smashed. I never have done. I'm 31 and I've never been a drinker. I've worked throughout my teens and 20s, and I've never put something inside of my body that I can't pronounce. So yeah.
Wow.
That's a good rule of thumb right there. Just don't put it in your mouth if you can't pronounce it.
I was going to say a really crass joke. I couldn't think of a country though. I was going to say, except for that man from, but I couldn't think of, when you say you've never put anything in your body that you couldn't. Anyway, sorry.
Probably not that guy either.
No, not that guy either. You don't have to. There's this generation that I don't understand. that like they require people like to text back, or there it just seems like this whole generation, it seemed like my generation was more needy than my parents' generation, and that this next generation is even crazier. Like some of the stories that I hear, like my boyfriend didn't text me back for 3 hours. I'm like, 3 hours? Like what? Like,
That's it.
and I just don't I trip on you people who are professional athletes, because I can't imagine anyone like taxing your system. Like someone who's in your life has to integrate with it. They can't,
So
I just don't see them being able to, and it's the same with me. Like my wife cannot tax me. Like it has,
yeah,
we're like two planets circling each other, and it has to
but
be that
that's
way.
perfect, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel
Well,
like
kind of,
every
I get
relation.
worried when people say, do you take your wife for granted? That's not good. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Of course. The moon's always there. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I get a
feel
little
like
nervous.
a healthy relationship is a planet circulating another. And I just think that you should be able to live in your own world and do your own thing, and then you collide, and then you have like this bit of a whirlwind, and then you move back off to your own things. With me, I don't find other people taxing. I find the people in my life, they benefit everything that I'm doing. They validate me, they validate my existence and my job and my livelihood, and they make me feel good about myself. And I like being in other people's lives too. So I think you see the light shift. That is the UK for you. It's probably going to go up
Oh,
again now.
yeah, I saw that. Those are just clouds cruising in front of the
Yeah,
sun. Oh, that's
this
cool.
is like
Yeah.
quintessential UK lighting. It just comes in and out. But yeah, so I feel like love love, and I like liking someone. I like being around people. I like enjoying life with other people, whether that be friends, family, a man, or whatever it may be. I don't find it shouldn't feel taxing, and I don't find it taxing if I'm actually in it.
Yeah.
But if I'm not interested in a guy, I just won't entertain at all. I don't need to do that.
Do you enjoy being around your family still?
Yeah, I love it. I love
Yeah.
being around my parents. I'm actually planning to go and see them tonight.
Awesome. How far are they from you?
Like 5 minutes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What do they say about your profession? And do they
So
realize how multifaceted it is, that you're not just a professional eater, that you're a filmer, you're a YouTuber, you're a businesswoman? Do they realize that like it's a different game these days?
Yeah. It's interesting because my parents are super old school, so they don't really understand the social media thing. So
Mhm.
it has been hours of me explaining to them like the just complexity of what it is to have a business online and be the person and the film crew and the director and the creative director and the presenter and the eater and the performer and all of this stuff. At the start, they were like, "Are you sure you want to quit your stable job from this career that you forged out of education and all this stuff that you worked so hard for to eat food for a living?" And it's a very, very like valid question, and I appreciate them for questioning me and actually making me think about it. But it was the greatest decision I ever made. And I don't think that if I wasn't as good as I am, and I have the world records and I do the TV things and get all this, like I have a really good life out of it, my parents are my biggest cheerleaders. But if I
Oh,
wasn't number one, they wouldn't be so proud, I'm sure. But they promote me so much. They're like my biggest PR, my biggest ever.
it is the I don't know what the word is. Confluence, is that a word? It is an incredible crossing of things. Of the first thing, I think it was my mom yesterday. She came over to my house, and I was in the garage riding the assault bike, and I was watching a video of you. My mom goes, "Who's that?" And I told her, or maybe I told her what I was doing. Maybe she didn't see you. And then I told her what you do, and she goes, "Oh, is she fat?" And I go,
Yeah.
"Actually, no, she's not." And it, I think that would be like when anyone thinks of a professional eater, they just think of like the larger the person, the faster and more they can eat. And so there's this really fun myth you're dispelling, because
Yeah.
not only are you not fat, but you are beautiful, and you let us see your body. So
Yeah.
so there's this it's like, I don't know if you know much about CrossFit, but at the CrossFit Games there's this thing where everyone's like, oh, the athleticism, this, I guarantee you no one would watch that shit if the women weren't running around in their underwear and bra and the dudes had their were wearing a fucking overall. Like the coolest thing is watching one of those dudes, like barely clothed, turn a corner around a cone and you see abs and lats and veins and shit popping out. Like it would be like going to the zoo and the giraffe has a sweater. You'd be like, what the fuck? I came here to see his neck. You got a turtleneck on him? Take that shit off. I want my money back. And so there's this component to what you're doing that's like, look, this is like in car racing, we want to see the shell on the car. The car looks stupid with the shell off. But in professional eating, you're like, holy fuck, look at this woman's body. On one hand, she's doing this thing that you think is what a fat person does. And the other thing is you want to take her out to dinner and have kids with her. So there's this mix of like
emotions.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. I mean, you're breaking the mold. It's not, I mean, you sit next to Eddie Hall. He looks like a human trash compactor. He looks like you could throw a license plate at him and
he made me look like an infant. I was so tiny next to him. But
you really liked him, right? You said a lot of nice things about him.
He's such a gentleman. Yeah, I enjoy his character. I admire him. I admire his work ethic. I think that he's fantastic, and I'm glad that he's doing as well as he is. It's nice to see.
Is there anyone that's ever intimidated you in an eating competition?
Directors of TV companies, directors of all TV shows. I find them incredibly intimidating
because they're assholes.
And they're just
you can say it.
No, so you were saying earlier about that would other people be too taxing and you're giving too much of yourself. I find directors don't allow that. Like, I don't care who you are, why you're here. Like, I'm doing all of this and you're part of all of this. So that's how I feel like directors of like I come through with like this really light energy, and I feel like they are just like so intense, and it's a bit much for me. So yeah, they intimidate me.
But no one you've ever gone against. You've never like walked into a room and there's some lady sitting there and you're like, holy fuck, she's gonna eat 24 hot dogs in 1 minute and 8 seconds, and I can only do it in 1 minute and 9.
Well, I don't think I've ever been in that situation, but I've been up against Molly Schuyler, and Molly Schuyler she's not intimidating because I think she's wonderful, but she's a very good eater. So I know going in that I'm going to lose. And so I just accept my fate and I lose gracefully like us British people do.
Can you show me Molly Schuyler?
Yep.
Do you have a nemesis?
No, I don't believe I do.
Yeah, you need one. If anyone's listening, any 16-year-old girl or boy is listening, and is professional eating competitions, are they separated by sex, or it's a free-for-all? Men and women, cock and balls and vagina go against each other.
It's a free-for-all for the most part, but Coney Island and Nathan's hot dog eating contest is split with men and women. The women's champ is Mickey Sudo. The male champ is Joey Chestnut. And Joey Chestnut almost doubled what Mickey Sudo has done the last 8 years. Yeah. He did like 84 hot dogs or something crazy. She did like 40 in 10 minutes, by the way. It's no joke.
I heard you say you were doing a competition with the giant fish, and I appreciated you putting it on your YouTube, and it says, and you failed the competition and you showed us. Well, my first question is, did you cry after that?
No, I was upset, but I didn't cry.
Okay. And you said you're full. You said there's no more room.
Yeah.
And I immediately thought to myself, this woman has self-awareness about her.
Yeah.
And her insides that like I don't have. Like, what does that mean? You're full, or the way you worded it? There's no more room. I was like, man, is she inside of there? Like, I almost imagine like a little version of you in your stomach being like, okay, hot dog, scoot over. Another one's coming down, and like you're like making like there's like something in there making room.
So to try and keep it a sort of I guess, graceful as I can. As a competitive eater, you've got to know what your capacity is. For the most part, I know it by weight and by how it looks physically in front of me. With that particular challenge, it's not regulated. So they told me it was a certain weight. And when they were putting it together, they were not weighing it. They were just going, put some more on top. And so they just kept putting chips on. I was unwell going into that challenge, and I probably shouldn't have even gone to film it. So I ended up going there, and even from the first bite, you could tell my brain wasn't in it, and none of me wanted to do that. So I got to a certain point where I could either sit for another 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes and try and get the rest of the food down, but I can guarantee I'm going to be sick, or I can stop and live with feeling full and knowing that with a little bit more practice and some regulation of the challenge, I can go back and smash it and set a record and do a cool job.
Yeah.
My issue with food challenges that are not regulated is that it's not an even playing field. It means that nothing is fair. It is not a race. It's not a match. It's like saying, because you're a professional, we're going to add extra food. It's like telling Mo Farah he has to run an extra 5 miles. It doesn't work for me. So for me, the loss
it's not professional, that's for sure.
No, it's not, but they don't see it like that. So I would often say competitive eaters, like, keep us on side because we're promoting your business, your food. Keep us sweet, because ultimately, if we're happy, that whole experience, that video is going to come out amazing. If we're unhappy, if we have been given too much food, if we've been done over or feel like we've been mistreated in any way, like, you're missing out. It's a shame.
Yeah.
And for people to successfully, in the whole of the UK, to successfully achieve a challenge that is achievable and delicious and whatever, hundreds of people will go and try it and fail.
Right.
And pay money towards it and more promotion for the venue. So that's what I'm...
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say that's what I'm working towards achieving, is a better understanding of what a challenge is and why it's so important for it to be regulated.
How did you know you were full, though? That's the part I'm getting at. Like, do you feel it up here? Or
I feel like I'm going to be sick, and I know what that feeling is for me. And
like when you say sick, like it's going to come up.
Yes. And I don't want to ever push myself to that point. So I know if I keep going, knowing that I'm never going to end the video gracefully, I'm never going to be able to face this challenge again because I will be traumatized from that experience.
Oh.
And there's a lot of things that go into it psychologically. Like, you need to really understand where your line is. And you look at that, you think there's not a lot of food that you could probably finish. But my point in this space is I didn't beat the previous record, so I wouldn't have been happy even if I'd finished it.
Yeah,
so
I thought it was an awesome video. I liked how you ended it. You were so vulnerable. I liked it. It was like one of my favorite videos.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
it's nice to hear.
Because people want to see that, right? That's where they get to know you. They've seen you come across the finish line like this, 1,000 times. It's cool to see like another side of you, how she handled. But I did think that you cried afterwards. I'm like, fuck, man. And I like that because it made me think, I'm like, man, she takes this shit seriously. Like, this is like, she's a pro. Yeah.
Yeah, I do take it seriously. I've only ever cried with wins rather than losses. Losses, I get very disappointed and I become very sort of sulky and moody. And then I just get over it and get on to the next challenge. That's the beauty of this, is that there's always another opportunity to go again if you need to.
Do you have something like lined up now? Like, do you have a target?
Not really a target. There's a Pancake Day is next week, and that's quite a big day in the UK. So I'm doing pancake themed videos.
Can't someone be like, hey, here's 10,000 euros, come eat pancakes at my restaurant? Like, isn't that on Pancake Day? Can't there be like that?
Yeah.
Is there that?
When the opportunities arise, I work with a lot of restaurants. I work with a lot of different organizations to make content. And part of that is, hey, can we have you come in and set a record on this, or can you come and help us design a challenge? We want to introduce it and we want you to launch it. Or like, this is basically my job. So my job is to work with venues, work with restaurants, develop or do challenges, relaunch them, launch new ones, etc. And that's part of the creativity for me, and I enjoy that.
Who's this? Sorry, I'm getting all over the place here. I'm getting squirrely. Who's the super hot singer who killed herself? The drug addict chick. She was a great
Amy
singer.
Winehouse.
Oh yeah, I just got an Amy Winehouse kind of like flashback by looking at you.
Yeah.
Have you heard that before, Amy Winehouse?
Not for very many years, but it was when I was really skinny. Like, people used to tell me that I looked like Amy Winehouse. Yeah. But I didn't think that was like a compliment.
Oh, no, it's a huge comment.
You look like
dope.
a druggie. You look like a really talented,
like a drug addict.
Well, you are a druggie. I mean, you are a druggie. It's just your drug is
adrenaline is my drug. Yeah.
Well, in food, man, that's a powerful drug. Yeah. What about what I think you're a more complex character. I think you're a very complex character. I think that if we bring you out of your element and we take the crew that did, I didn't ever watch Anthony
Bourdain.
Oh, he froze.
Anthony Bourdain show. He pretends to love them. So I didn't get to watch Anthony Bourdain. But why not take you and put this cast and crew around you and have you be the next Anthony Bourdain? I mean, you are. You have everything it takes. Like, why not? Is anyone? How has not anyone scooped you up?
That's what I was gonna ask too.
Yeah, like where's the agent? What's going on? Is there something in the works?
Well, not necessarily. There's been a lot of conversation and talks about a woman versus food show. So it would be like
that was the name of his show. That was the name of Anthony Bourdain's show, Man versus Food.
No, Anthony Bourdain is the chef, right? That he went round and tried food, but he didn't do challenges.
Yeah, I think you should try. I think you should be trying food. I think that your show, I'm not poo-pooing the challenges. I really like the challenges, but there's a sophistication and an awareness to you that's like, it's so, you don't even have to dig deep for it. It's like,
because I love what I do. So people see that, they feed off it. So
it's like you're so obviously a professional. This isn't like a
this isn't a show.
This isn't a fucking hobby. I mean, you'd be so great at that. Like, take it to Afghanistan or India, just like start just around the world eating food and talk and the other experiences you would have and the light that you could shine on those cultures. I mean, you'd be great at it.
This is something that has been in my mind as like the big goal, the big thing. I'm constantly on my own hamster wheel, and ever so often something will come in and I'll be in talks about that. And this has been brought up several times. And it's a lot of hot air, but unless I see something in front of me, I'm never going to believe it's going to happen.
Yeah, me too.
So for me, it's like when I get a solid offer, this is what we want to do, this is how it's going to happen, this is what we need from you. It is what it is. Like, I'd love to be part of something like that. I don't have the facility to create it myself. I would be a presenter on a show. So I would need the financing, the producers, the company, all of that stuff.
Do you ever have plans to build more of a team out underneath you so people could so you could move a little faster, you could focus on what you do and let them go seek those things? Is there any thought of that, or do you just like just doing it all yourself, the one person show?
At the moment, I am not earning enough money to be employing other people. I'm trying to get to that point, and there's a lot of plans, building the website, making the merch, doing all of the stuff that's going to sort of create this mini empire. And then I think when that starts to really grow legs, then I'll think about a team. I'm very skeptical about management. I don't think that I want to get into that until I need to get into real negotiations. But at the moment, I work for what I'm comfortable to work for. I'm happy to negotiate my myself.
Yeah.
But if we're talking like TV shows, then I probably will need someone to come in.
I would suggest that you don't go with a manager. And in fact, if you were going to start to build a team, and that's always the hardest part, because when you own a business, you actually own a job, right? And until you start employing other people underneath you, and it changes the dynamic because you're no longer doing the job. But in your case, it's a tricky situation. But I would say find the job that you hate the most, the lowest level job, and then find somebody that would do it for free. Because I think with the power of your brand, I think you'd be surprised if you put a little casting call. Now, it's going to take some vetting and weeding out some people over time. But then you could start to really alleviate those lower level jobs. And then you could start to feel out you managing them. So that way you never have to bring on a manager, and you could still continue to kind of progress. Just my little 2 cents suggestion.
How dare you lecture the Jew on business? How dare you lecture the Jew on business? Who the fuck are you?
I've been in that position where you have all this work and you're like, how do I hire somebody, but I don't have the money to do it yet. And so that's always a tricky dichotomy to manage. And that's the way that I've done it. And it's worked out so far pretty well. And then you could slowly build the rung up and then decide the jobs that you like to do the best, as well as the thing you're doing now.
Yeah. You know, the thing for me within all of this as well is like, I didn't know that I was ever going to get to the point where I would be looking to expand in that way. And a work environment for me is so important, because I used to design offices, and I know how important all of the things that are associated to a job are, not necessarily just a boss like me, but like having like a nice environment to work in and having like a really positive sort of space. I just don't know how it what it looks like at the moment. And I've only been living, like, just to make it very clear, like I've only been living this life for a very short period of time. I don't know what life is. I mean, I started pretty much as business independently in lockdown, so it kind of started there, and now the borders are open and I can go out and travel and go to restaurants and film videos. So it's all very small and very new, very raw and very fresh. And I'm building it kind of in this free world, and I just don't know how that's going to look in a year's time. So
did you say you're building it in this free world?
Yeah, free, you know.
All right.
Free.
I don't agree with that.
Triggered.
I just want to say, for the record, I really like Leah, but I don't agree with the free world part. But other than that, I think she's fantastic.
No.
If you hired someone to do what you do, it would take you $1 million. There's and people don't realize that about entrepreneurship. By the way, those of you who don't know, you have to go check out Leah's YouTube channel. You have to follow her on Instagram. She is cool as fucking shit. I'm not even a food eating person, but she's just a cool person, and she's crazy vulnerable, and she's crazy confident. And so it's a there's so many lessons pouring off of you. But what you're doing is we have so this podcast that we do, Leah, it was just Matt and I, and basically Matt's like, hey, you should do a podcast. So we started doing a podcast. And since then, 2 people have jumped on and started helping us. And both of them, especially this guy, Will, even if I paid him, I don't pay him any money. Even if I put out a casting call, I couldn't hire someone and pay them $300,000 a year to do what he does. He builds the backgrounds. He directs the website. He does fucking everything. And I don't know, like, and now the goal is to get some sponsors and to be able to pay him, right? Like,
of course.
I guess that's like what we have to do. I guess the machine's just building itself. I can't believe that someone hasn't, like, this. It's just amazing how many people there who aren't hard workers and go-getters who want to, like, some kid out there who's 20 years old should see you and just be like, holy shit, I just want to film this girl's videos for free for the next like 5 years. Like, that's how I got started. I just went to CrossFit and I just wanted to film their videos for free because I just wanted to like get stuff on YouTube. Like, it's not that you need them. Someone else needs you. You people who are listening, like if you're in the UK, like, you need her. This is a 1 in a billion time opportunity to work your ass off for free while you're at your mom's house and just, and do like 5 things for Leah simultaneously. And because that's what you're doing right now. You're everything. You could never pay someone to do what you're doing. It would take, it's nuts.
Yeah. It's
nuts.
People
don't get it.
No, I don't think they do. the people that get it do though. I recently did a big project in Milan, like one of the biggest projects I think I'll probably do this year. And I was sat with a team of people who were very curious about how I even got into this and all the story, and they were like, wait, so you go to restaurants on your own? I'm like, yeah, I do. And as a woman, it for me, I'm a strong woman and very independent. I've always been like this kind of a bit of a powerhouse in that respect, very stubborn and very stubborn. And I always felt very capable of doing things on my own. And it's only recently that I feel vulnerable. Like I feel vulnerable going to restaurants on my own with all of my camera equipment and trusting that nobody's going to do something or say something inappropriate. And it's so weird, but until you explain to people that, yeah, like I'm doing it, I'm just trying to work it out. Until you actually explain to people, they don't really get it. The people that do will understand though that it is an awful lot of work. And I put in the hours, but then I get the benefit. So it's to my convenience, and I only ever see it like that.
For people who, I just want to walk someone through the steps, and I'm probably forgetting 50 steps, but she has to get herself personally ready. That's like shower, get dressed. She has to get all her camera gear and all that shit together. Then she has to organize it and make sure all the cameras are started. One of the most stressful fucking things ever, because nothing can be stopped. Then she has to film it. Then she has to actually perform the athletic feat that's fucking mind-boggling. Then when it's over, when she's full of shit and she probably doesn't want, she has to then be like, shit, I haven't worked out today, but I got to shut down all the cameras and recharge the batteries for tomorrow. And I got to get this uploaded to my computer, and I got to make sure I don't lose this card. Have I uploaded that card yet? Have I done this? And then when she gets it all in her computer, she has to edit it, but then she still has to answer the phone because her mom called her dog is sick, or her boyfriend just broke up with her, all these things. And then she has to edit it. And then like when you're all done and it's fucking 11:30 at night and you want to go to bed, you're uploading the video and you still have to sit there and wait because you have to hit a button when it's done uploading, or you have to turn off your computer, or I mean, it's never fucking ending for these people. There's no pussy YouTubers. There's none. No. There's these two guys in the CrossFit space, Marston and Heber. And the amount of work these two dudes do is mind-boggling. But like, it's all the shitty stuff that you don't see. It's like it's getting up at 3 a.m. and like for the 5th time making sure your batteries are charging, even though you've already checked 4 times. You went to bed because you're OCD. They have to be charged. I mean, it's just nuts.
The one thing for me that is interesting within all that, and I need to kind of make it quite clear, is that I will only ever do one shoot a week. So for me, it's not like an everyday thing. I couldn't manage it. I couldn't manage the calories, my weight, my mood, my sleeping patterns, nothing. So for me, I film one challenge, whether it be spice, speed, quantity, whatever, and I will, like exactly like you said, make sure that all my camera bags packed, everything's charged, get to set everything up, make sure it's framed nicely, make sure that I feel like I can do this, I'm confident, get myself in a good headspace, film the video, be really excited about it, even though a lot of the time I'm on my own in this restaurant trying to be enthusiastic to a camera about food I ate too much of.
It looks like you have a big crew, by the way.
Yeah, it does.
All your shit looks amazing. And you're all happy and shit. And you're like, you're talking. It's crazy. It looks like there's a big crew.
And that's what I meant about. Go ahead, Lee.
Well, a lot of the time I'm speaking to members of the public, to the bar staff, to like the waiter. I'm normally just on my own with like strangers around me, and they all become very engrossed in the whole process, and they kind of become your biggest cheerleaders, because in that moment they are your fans and you're there doing this thing they want you to do. So you kind of feed that energy, you feed off of it, and it's really actually very nice.
Yeah, and that's what
Very nice.
that's what I meant about getting somebody to come in for free, because that's an amazing opportunity for someone who wants to get in the content creating space, right? They're just like, "Hey, I'll be the one that helps you set up the cameras. I'll be the one that makes sure they're all recording. I'll write down any notes you want. I'll bring all the stuff in. I'll bring it to your car." And so that's you got to find that enthusiastic person that'll just show up and do it
Yeah.
free because they're just there for the experience to learn from you. And that's essentially
Yeah.
what I did with Sevan here, because I knew it was just going to be an amazing
Wow.
learning experience, even if nothing
Yeah.
came from it. What I would
Yeah.
take away personally from it was already going to be worth my time, right?
Oh yeah, of
And
course.
so if anybody's out there listening in the UK and wants that opportunity,
Dude, bug her, hitch your
yeah,
wagon to her, just
I'll
start
clean up the
being an intern
trash,
for her.
I'll
Yeah.
fuel your car up for
Hey,
you. I'll get
and,
out and start the car.
and you know, and we had
I love
people,
it.
we had people who said that they were going to help us, but they just didn't have the work capacity. And that's another
Yeah.
thing. Like, don't bother Leah unless like you have the work capacity.
Yeah,
Like,
that's right. That's right.
you will not be able to get your head wrapped. She works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's no time off ever, ever, ever. And if you want to hitch a wagon to superstardom and to hard work and to go-getters, that's what you're going to do. But if you have your life partition, like, well, I need this vacation, I do this. Like, that's not how this lady works. That's not how I work. Our whole life is a tight circle. Christmas Day, Easter, our birthday, everything is working. If it doesn't fit in our life, it doesn't fit in our life. We're not compartmentalized. That's not how go-getters work.
Yeah.
We have no balance. We have no balance.
No,
We
no.
are balanced. The community I'm in of all these athletes and super athletes, and fasting's like a huge part of it's like the trendy cool thing, and probably very healthy to do. I stop eating every Saturday night, and I don't start eating again until Monday morning. And I don't advise that for everyone, but I'm 49 years old and like all my shit's like slowed down. So it's like, it's fine for me. But someone asked you, do you fast? And you said, yes. I heard two different kinds of answers. I heard, yes, I don't eat 12 hours before a contest.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also heard you say that sometimes after one of these eating challenges, you won't eat for up to 48 hours. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, both correct. So I fast. So the reason why I fast is not just for the calories. It's also to make sure that my body is satiated. And before a challenge, the goal is to have an empty stomach and just make sure that like you're ready, you're hungry, you can physically fit the amount of food that you need to inside of your stomach. So I fast 12 to 24 hours before a challenge, depending on the size of the challenge. I go in, smash it, have loads of food in me, and I just, in this space, it's so difficult to say indefinitely how long I fast afterwards. But I have done massive steak challenges where I've not wanted to eat for like 3 days. So it's not just the calories, it's the way that the calories are affecting your body, your mood, your energy levels. It is about being very intuitive, understanding that your body doesn't need calories in that moment. So eating really is not going to help your situation. Are you eating out of boredom? Are you actually dehydrated? And then I drink tons of water. So that also helps flush out any extra sodium levels and things like that. It just kind of balances you out in a really nice way. So I do fast. I fast in a very calculated way. It doesn't bother me. I eat for a living. So if anything, eating is a bit of a chore sometimes. And most days I train. So I live very intuitively around challenges. If I don't feel like eating, I probably am not going to, and it's not really going to make a difference.
Do you know what a glucose monitor is?
I do. It's just to monitor your blood sugar levels, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And they're getting more and more fancy. Like I think there's ones where like you put a sticker on you and it stays on you, and then you just open up an app. It would be fat. You need it. Like if I'm some glucose monitor company, like I pay you $100,000 just to wear that thing and do weekly reports. Like what a cool thing to do, to have you fast for 24 hours and then sit down with fucking 2 boxes of Lucky Charms and watch that fucker just spike. I mean, food companies would hate the shit out of you, but like, man, you're a glucose monitor company's dream. How are they not like all up in your shit?
And then would you believe that I've got low blood sugar levels?
No, I
naturally.
wouldn't. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I
So
love
I
it.
used to faint. I used to faint a lot as a child. And I used to just like faint, get up, faint, get up, faint. And it's just because I had low blood sugar. So
Wow.
Oh.
I was dieting from kind of the age of 11. And my mum kept having to take me off these diets where I was lowering my calorie intake because of my blood sugar levels. So now it's
you were
like,
dieting at 11. That's fucked up though, right? Like I
yeah,
probably was doing that shit too. Like someone probably called me fat at school. Yeah.
society, education around nutrition. There was nothing out there. We didn't have social media. We didn't
Yeah.
have
Yeah, we couldn't blame
reliable
social
news
media.
sources.
We couldn't
No,
blame social media for our fucking eating disorders
no,
as kids. What the fuck? Who are we gonna blame?
no.
You
Magazines,
What I
bunch of
mean
pussies.
magazines.
is,
Stop blaming everyone for everything.
no.
Stop blaming. Take care of your fucking self.
What I mean is that social media has provided so many reliable sources
Oh,
of
you're so positive.
education. No, but
Yes.
it's true.
I hear
follow
you.
people
You're
that
right.
know what they're talking about, and they educate everybody on calorie intake, on like a balanced nutrition, on exercise, on a balanced lifestyle, not extremity, not the cabbage soup diet, the I don't know what else diet that I did, the fruit diet,
Yeah, did you try to only eat grapefruit for a month?
Absolutely ridiculous. Like, I did all of these things.
Yeah.
I did
Celery.
all of them.
Yeah.
Did the celery. I did
When you eat
like,
celery, you
soup
actually
diet,
burn calories because your jaw actually expends more calories than it.
because your body's
Crazy.
so depressed. Like,
Yeah.
why?
Oh man. And you fainted once in a contest. You ate
I
so
blacked
much.
out. Yeah.
Was that because the food was hot? Spicy?
No.
No. Oh.
No, I'll tell you why. So I was given a massive amount of food. I was in Japan, so there was like this really weird communication issue. I had a translator, but whilst we were
Racist.
filming,
Uh-huh.
certainly not racist. Whilst we were filming I'll give you a brief overview. I'm filming a TV show. I'm going up against 4 men. 2 are ex-sumo wrestlers, an ex-sumo wrestler, an ex-football player, and 2 are comedians. I was sat in the middle. They gave us an amount of food that was more food than they had told me. They just said, eat as much as you can. The whole idea is that you're going to beat these guys. I'm thinking, okay, cool. We start eating this food. We're underground in a pub in Japan, in this like really narrow, tiny bar area. And we have like 30 camera crew. Each person has a cameraman. We have runners running up and down, lots of lights, everything. This is for a TV show. And I'm eating this food and it gets very hot. Like the room gets very hot. I'm drinking water.
Like you're sweating hot? Like you're sweating hot?
Not sweating, but I'm feeling like my core temperature is rising. And when you feel that, your body's reacting to something.
Okay.
So the food itself was.
It was probably that puffer fish they slipped in there.
Yeah, God, don't. I'm so glad that it wasn't anything like untoward that way. But they gave us British food, but it wasn't British. It wasn't how we have it here. It was their take on it.
Right.
I get through most of the plates. Like I'm almost at the end, and I feel like I'm going to pass out. So I'm asking them how long left. They say 5 minutes. And I think, okay, I'm just going to coast for the next 5 minutes, finish nicely. I'm the winner. Happy days. The guys next to me kept getting up and going to the toilet and coming back and eating more food. And I'm like, this is not allowed. You're not allowed to do that. Like, this is not right. So I'm sat eating this food. I decide to stop.
You're not allowed to do that because you could be making yourself vomit, right?
Correct. So you can't get up and leave the table. Like that's just whatever you're doing, even just to go to the toilet. We are sat down for a maximum of 30 minutes. You can wait. So I end up sitting there. I'm really hot. I kept drinking water because I felt like it was cooling me down. I was telling my translator that I need to stop filming because I'm not feeling very well. He's like, it's fine, 5 minutes, just keep going. Then they say, okay, we're going to go down the line and we're each going to do a mouthful of food. So they went round one. So I did one tiny mouthful of food. I probably had like 500 grams left on my plate. they had full plates. Everybody
Yeah.
had full plates.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, I've won anyway. Let's just play this game. So we went round the line a couple of times, and then I said, I'm done. I was zoning out because I used to faint as a child. I know what it feels like. I know when I need to stop. And I said, I'm done. Next thing I know, I'm waking up. I was on the floor. I blacked out. Lights were off. Everybody cleared out. They bundled me into an ambulance and took me to hospital. And they ran a load of tests, and they said, look, everything's come back normal. You seem healthy to us. Like, we don't see any problems. And what we think has happened is, because you were subterranean, there wasn't a lot of oxygen. There were lots of people in the room, and it got very hot. You were eating lots of food, so the oxygen from your brain went to your stomach to digest. And because that happened, you blacked out. And that was always going to happen. So they kind of set you up for that to happen. And when you said, I'm done, they should have cut and let you go. Like, that should have been the end of exercise. But the show never aired because they couldn't use the footage.
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad, because that was a very embarrassing time for me. And
I don't know. I think it shows like commitment to the job.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of men, actually, funnily enough, were like, I can't believe, like, you ate so much food that you blacked out. Like, that is badass. I'm like, is that badass or is that idiocy?
Well, it's a good experience. Next time you'll just be like, fuck you, I'm not eating. Does this translate to Japanese? No.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Was your boyfriend there, or were your parents there? Did you have were by yourself?
Yeah.
Oh God, that would that's scary shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
How old were you when that happened?
It was about 3 years ago, so it was about 28-ish.
Man.
Yeah, that was tough.
I one time went to Egypt to film a movie in the Sahara Desert, and I landed in Cairo, and I had my camera with me, and I was questioned by, like, no shit, like, by 15 guys for like 4 hours until the airport was empty, and like all the people I went, and I was by myself. Wow. It's a little different than passing out, but you don't want to. They kept asking me if I was Israeli or Jewish. They kept asking what my camera was for. It was fucked up. I seriously thought I was going to jail. I did not want to go to jail in Egypt. I don't know what made me think of that, but I was just thinking about what it's like to be alone in a foreign country and faint and wake up in a hospital. I would not like that. They're harvesting your organs and shit.
Holding you captive, asking for ransom money.
I've had you so long on here. Damn, we didn't even talk about. Oh shoot, we have to have you on again. Let me ask you this real quick before we let you go. Why when you do the banana?
Yeah.
Why do you have the warning? Don't try this at home.
What?
And you're very serious about it. It's not just like, hey, obligatory, like, don't try this. You're like, hey, listen, knuckleheads, don't do this.
So okay, this really frustrates me, because obviously people are going to try it, or if they do, it will only get so far. They'll go, nope, because your body does not naturally want to do something like that.
Yeah,
I understand that, and I'm fully, like, I'm with you. I think, like, why would you be so serious about this? But I have had so many videos taken down because there's no warning, and so I've had to put those warnings on. I do mean it. I don't want people to get hurt. And I don't think that people would ever get to the point where they would get hurt, because the human body is very good at trying to keep you alive. So it wouldn't get to that point, but I wouldn't want somebody's demise to be my responsibility. So
someone could die. Well, I mean, when you do that banana thing, maybe I don't know why, but I just picture anytime I'm watching something. Maybe that's why I can't watch a lot of shit on TV anymore. I imagine me doing it, right? Like you put the banana in, and then I start to, like, feel claustrophobic, like I'm gonna suffocate.
Yeah, I've never had any kind of like choking traumas from childhood, which is what a lot of kids have. So because I haven't had that, I don't have that fear in my mind when I'm doing stuff like this. So people ask me this question all the time, and I think that it is part to do with trauma.
What about that thing that hangs down in the back of your mouth? You know what I mean? Like,
is it an uvula? An uvula?
Uvula, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that thing, the uvula. When I was in college, like if I drank, when I drank too much alcohol or something, and like I would come home from a party, I would try to put my finger back there and touch that and vomit up all the like alcohol before I went to bed.
What?
Before I went to bed. How do you get the banana like doesn't the banana rub on that thing and just make you want to gag? Like that thing doesn't want to be touched, right?
I don't have a gag reflex, and I never have done. I was always like that person that could brush my tongue, like without it making me
Wow,
gag.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've had. There's been a lot of things that I've been able to do that I didn't know would ever become handy until this job. Like I had an addiction to chewing gum, and I would chew gum all day, every day for years. I loved it. I still do, and it made my jaw so strong that now when I do stage challenges, I've never had jaw fatigue or jaw ache because
wow.
I have a super strong, very trained jaw from chewing gum. And I'm not training myself to be a competitive eater. Like I just wanted to be a normal chick, but I now have a very strong, resilient jaw.
Yeah, you're in your path, you're in your flow. Do you take any supplements? Do you
No,
take any like vitamin A, vitamin C, creatine, arginine, beta, alanine?
I used to take like a plethora of supplements, but I found that since I have a much healthier diet outside of food challenges, I don't really need to supplement too much. My body's pretty healthy. But in saying that, I was thinking like a digestive enzyme would be a really great product to start to market.
Yes.
Because a lot of people struggle with their digestion. And I was thinking about like a vitamin blend and call it shitamins.
Oh, wow. Wow. Wow.
And it's been on my mind for the longest time. I just thought it's so bad that maybe it's good.
Yeah.
Buy it.
You know, the only supplement that I really take, like that I really care that I take, it's funny you say that, is on my days that I'm fasting, I take digestive enzymes because I was told that when your stomach's empty, you should pop those in there when you're fasting. And I don't know why, I don't notice any difference, but yeah. Do you ever get constipated? Do you even know what that means?
I have a pretty, a lot of people say that it's down to my age, but I have a pretty good digestive system. But I wouldn't do my job if I had problems. Like I just wouldn't, it wouldn't feel, to me, it just feels so kind of effortless because I don't have these adverse reactions. So I think I'm fortunate. I also have a very active, very healthy lifestyle otherwise.
Yeah.
And I drink tons of water, which helps a lot.
Somewhere in college, I actually remember the exact moment. I was in college, I was in my 20s, and I was in a cafe and I was taking a shit. And I don't know why it took so long. Maybe some people still don't know this, but I realized you don't have to poop. I have tremendous focus. I am like hyper fucking disciplined and focused. And I was just watching my breathing, and I put all of my awareness on my like around my anus as I'm sitting there and I'm breathing, and the poop just fell out of me. And since then, now at 49, for the last 26 years, I've never had to I never have to push. I could poop and then I could command myself to poop again. Like I could poop just forever because I have such I can just relax. So I could probably eat a hot dog and let it fall out the bottom if I was that relaxed. Yeah, I bet you like a vending machine. Yes.
Yeah. So for you, toilet time is like a meditative practice.
Completely, and it's quick. It's quick. Like people be shitting on the toilet for like 5 minutes, or 10 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I wait till I'm like prairie dogging. I'm like a little kid, and then I'm like run. You know what prairie dog is? And then I run to the toilet and I just take a few deep breaths, and I'm just like, And because my diet's so healthy, I don't really need toilet paper either. I'm a unicorn.
Well, I just think a lot of people lack fiber in their diets and water. Probably it is just down to like a probably terrible diet habits as to why they have such difficulties with constipation and things like that. I really
Because
don't want to be
I don't
talking
even-
about toilet.
I don't even think I know what constipation is.
Well, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, it is. I guess it's a good thing. Okay. When I was in high school, I didn't know what. When I was in high school, I didn't know what insecurity was. And then I got to college and I was like, oh, the reason why I didn't know what insecurity was is because all I was insecure.
Got you.
So now I'm concerned that I don't know what constipation is. And like, shit, maybe I'm only constipated.
It's like a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
You don't know that you're missing out, but you actually really are.
In this egg eating contest,
Yeah.
or in the egg challenge, in one of the videos I saw, you drop the egg on the floor.
Yes.
Now this is a problem for a couple reasons. One, it gets dirty, but two, it fucks with your time.
It
right?
fell on the chair next to me. So I was sat on the bench and it bounced off the bench and I caught it and then I ate it. Yeah.
Oh, it's too bad there wasn't a side camera. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was like this continuous thing. That was for a TV show, and the production were like, "Can we just do that again? Because we don't know whether Guinness World Records might disqualify it because you actually dropped the egg."
Oh, so then, I saw your hand go over there.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I even have that in my notes. I'm like, "What were you doing with your hand? Holy shit! You dropped the hard-boiled egg, it bounced off the chair, and you caught it."
Yeah.
I would have been like, "Hey, idiots! Why is there a chair next to her? Clear that shit out and give her some space." But the chair, wow.
Yeah. That second attempt was where I discovered that I could swallow the eggs whole. So when they told me to go again, the first one just went straight down. I was like, "Oh wow, I can do that." So I just did all three, and then I almost halved my previous time.
Hey, could you have let's say the eggs, could you have like dipped the eggs in oil or something to make them more slippery, or would that be cheating?
Well, they are they're pickled eggs, so they come out of a pickled egg jar.
Okay.
So they are kind of covered in like a vinegar, so they're not dry.
Okay.
Helps.
How come there aren't more colored people in your sport? No, I'm just joking.
That's a good point, though.
Who cares? You're fine.
You're
yeah, you're all colored up. Yeah, it's fine. Who cares? Black people shouldn't be doing this sport anyway. They're too smart.
I'm such a minority.
Yes. Heartburn. Do you ever get heartburn?
No, that's another question that I get a lot. I don't know.
Shit.
Again,
just trying to ask
I
you
don't know
something
what
special. You don't know what that is? Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
If you started drinking a lot of alcohol, like foofy drinks and eating chips, you'd get heartburn. I used to drink a lot of alcohol, foofy drinks, and potato chips, and I would get heartburn.
Okay, I don't do that.
We talked about hooking you up with David Blaine. We talked about cereal. Oh yeah. David Blaine. I never see you spill on yourself.
Okay.
I mean, you're a fucking professional. I guess that's something like you do as a professional. Like you're stuffing your face with food, but I guess you're a professional, so you don't spill. Like I never see milk dripping on your boobs or like a piece of burrito like fall off into your shirt and you're like shit. Like it's just.
I think that part of the appeal of my channel and my videos is that I'm a clean eater, and that's why I say I'm going to try and eat this as quickly and as cleanly as I possibly can. It's not something that I consciously did. It's something that I naturally am, and that's something that people point out and actually enjoy about my channel. So, I mean, a lot of people might watch my videos and go, "That's not clean," but when you're eating at a speed, it's clean in comparison to other eaters. So people come to my channel for like, it's like more aesthetic eating. That's like the type of thing that I like to go for.
I'm beautiful. I eat fast and I eat clean. Leah Shutkever.
Roll the title.
Yes. We talked about flavor fatigue. That was a great. I'd never heard of those. I'd never heard those two words next to each other. The juxtaposition of those words. Tell me about flavor fatigue.
So flavor fatigue is something you can get pretty much from anything that you're consuming. And when you consume too much of it, you get to a point where the flavor becomes so consistent that it almost tastes like nothing. And that can make you feel very nauseous. So what you need in that moment is like a flavored drink or a carbonated drink or something sweeter or saltier or spicier to kind of reignite the taste buds. That's where challenges start to become really difficult, especially when you have a huge amount of something very bland like bread or chips or pizza or something like that.
How do you learn about flavor? Is that your own? Do you learn
No,
that by
I
talking to
can't
other
coin that.
professionals? No, you didn't coin that.
No, I didn't. Flavor fatigue is similar to when people say about meat sweats or about hitting the wall. It's the things that you experience whilst you do food challenges, and we all go through them to a degree. I can't say that I've ever had meat sweats. I think that's something maybe like I think it's a fallacy, but I don't know.
I feel like I've had meat sweats. Like you go to those Brazilian places where the guys with the, and I feel like I get the meat sweats there.
I love those places.
Yeah. I think, you know, as I watch your videos, God, I'm such a pompous douche. I think that that one where you eat the 80 grams of the green shit.
The 80 grams, of watercress, yeah.
Yeah, that one I'm like, man, I bet you I got her on that.
Try it.
I need to. I don't think we have, what could I use arugula? It's spicy. We don't have that. We don't have what?
Arugula is rocket to us. I think you may have watercress.
We do in the United States?
I think so.
I don't know. We have a supply chain issue. We don't have anything here anymore.
Oh well, you're screwed.
Oh my God, our president's such a goofball. What do you guys think about our president? The old guy, Joe Biden.
I don't think that I'm qualified to comment.
Oh, you're a good dude. Glucose monitor. We know we talked about that. Talked about flavor fatigue. Talked about constipation. Okay, the only thing we didn't talk about, and we're not going to talk about, is your boobs. That's the only thing we didn't talk about, but we'll save that for the next show.
Okay. I don't think there's much to say, but cool.
Leah, you are a wonderful guest. I appreciate you coming on and partying with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll be watching you. If there's ever any time you ever want to come on again, we'd love to have you. If there's anything we can do for you, let us know.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, and
thank you.
It's been a good chat.
And someone for all you suitors out there, put
David
on your
Blaine.
yes, yes,
Come through.